Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett,
And I'm Kevin.
and we are your hosts. Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie every week and discuss it just like a book club. On today's show, we are continuing our month-long theme for June of looking at films that won Best Picture at the Venice Film Festival, and our film this week is the Western romance film Brokeback Mountain. Our thoughts and more are coming up on Movie Club. Released in 2005, Brokeback Mountain was directed by Ang Lee and stars Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Michelle Williams. In 1960s Wyoming, two men develop a strong emotional and sexual relationship that endures as a lifelong connection, complicating their lives as they get married and start families of their own. The film currently has a 4.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd and is ranked 442 on its top 500. The film was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Cinematography, Best Supporting Actress for Michelle Williams, Best Supporting Actor for Jake Gyllenhaal, Best Actor for Heath Ledger, and Best Picture. It won 3 Academy Awards for Best Original Score, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Director. Before we dive into our thoughts, though, we do want to issue a spoiler warning for the film. We're going to talk about everything that happens throughout the film and I think what we think of the ending, and we don't want to ruin it for you. So make sure you go watch it, then come back. You're not going to offend us or anything. But stay tuned to find out what movie we're covering at the end of the show, because we're staying in the drama category for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, Kevin. So we're here with my pick this week, which is, of course, Brokeback Mountain, a film that I think is iconic in terms of cultural status. I think it was, when it first came out, when we were less educated than we are now, it was kind of used as a joke film. But now, I think is getting a lot more of the attention that it deserves. But I had actually never seen this movie. I had never once given it the shot that it deserved. And now I finally had the chance to watch it. So obviously, I'm not going to say, have you heard of this movie? Because I know you have. But did you know anything about it going in?
I knew about the sexual tension between the two main characters and stuff like that because of, again, we used to joke about this movie and stuff like that. But I really didn't know what to expect during this and how it got to where it did. And dude, if you know how there's like Love Island as a TV show, this is like a drama filled movie, and I was so down for it.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it here with the time that we've got today. So, I think it's safe to say we both say go check it out if you can.
Oh yeah,
this movie is available to stream on Hulu. Was where I checked it out. So
I got it on Peacock. So
also available on Peacock. It is, of course, as of the time of recording this episode, it is Pride Month. So it's one of those movies that's going to be everywhere. So it should be pretty easy to find, regardless of what streaming networks you have. But go watch it, then come back here because I think it is truly something special. But for me, I want to go ahead and just say first, I was not expecting kind of the way, like, obviously this was made in 2005 when people were a lot less, the acceptance of LGBTQ people was not at a low, but it was definitely not as openly accepted as it is now. But I think that this movie handles it really well and very delicately.
It does, and I really like the chemistry between Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal's character. They really feel like once the tension rises and they feel that feeling for each other, but then have to go away for like 4 years or something like that, it's waning on them. And Jake Gyllenhaal has a great ending, like kind of monologue at the end of this movie where it was like, what if we did all of this? And this movie is a what if they didn't go back, and what if they didn't want to live, I don't want to say normal lives, because now in this time and age, the gay community, LGBTQ plus community is normal now, but it was just, what if they went back to just being themselves and went together for that ranch that they were talking about? And it would have been a very interesting, again, a very different but interesting movie, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what makes this like special is, I think that, like you're saying, right, like it's at a time when this was not something that was accepted.
Mhm.
I mean, there were people who were accepting, but it was few and far between, especially in rural communities like in Wyoming and
Wyoming.
Texas and in the places where this takes place. And we see what happened to a lot of those people. We like,
Mhm.
with the foundational moment for Heath Ledger's character of his father being insinuated to be the one that beat that gay man to death, and
Yep.
then made he and his brother see it.
Mhm.
And so that's why he kind of locked in those feelings
Yep.
for a long time. It's something that a lot of people, even today, go through. Is the
Yep.
feeling of ostracizing and of being made to feel like the other. And I think that it's handled really well here. And then I think also, like you said, their chemistry is just genuinely off the charts.
Mhm.
Like it's like they feel like a real couple,
Mhm.
for the times that they're together, and you feel the pain when when they go through their pain. You feel the success when they go through their success.
Mhm.
It's brilliant, and I think that Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal are absolutely just incredible in their
Yeah.
roles as Jack and Ennis.
Mhm.
And it's brilliant.
I would also love to say is the pacing of this movie just doesn't slow down either. It's just very consistent throughout the most, even though when it's going from the mountains with Jake and with Ennis and Jack, but then going to their families and letting the family grow, and even me caring about Alma, which is Ennis's wife too, because she sees what she wasn't supposed to see, and you would feel the same way for her as well. And when she basically she's cheating on him with another male, and it was so aggravating to see, and it hurts her as well because she doesn't want to out him out and be that horrible person that she knows that other people could be, which happens with Jake if the flashbacks were correct, because we don't
Yeah,
really know.
yeah. It's not, and I like that ambiguity, right? And I think
Mm.
that if the film had reached like the film could have been more um, explicit or concrete in giving us those details
Yeah.
if the end goal was to have them together in the end,
Hmm. Hmm.
because then those things would have come out. They would have shared those things with each other. But since they're unable to be together, we don't get the full truth.
Yeah.
We don't get to see those intimate shared moments and the sharing of the story because they didn't get to. And I
Hmm.
think that that's a brilliant choice,
Yeah.
both from the writing and from the directing perspective. And you're right, the pacing does not let up. It's wonderfully paced throughout. It's, I want to say,
2 hours and 15 minutes.
yeah, about 2 hours 15, and it doesn't let up.
No.
It goes like, especially romantic dramas like this have a tendency of going at the speed of molasses,
Hmm.
and but even with good chemistry and good writing and good
Hmm.
dialogue. But this movie is brilliant, and the way that it handles its time jumps, like the characters actually feel like they age the correct, from look and from performance, and
And you don't get lost in between the time jumps, because that's what some other movies do. You're like, oh my god, when did that happen? But it's very consistent on its time jumps, and again, it explains everything during those time jumps as well. So, and that's
yeah.
what I really liked about it too. But I would love to talk about the freaking scenery in this movie is absolutely spectacular. I didn't know how beautiful this movie looked, but when they're out in
Oh, yeah.
Brokeback Mountain is so gorgeous. The camera work.
Yeah, it makes Wyoming look absolutely incredible, and
Mhm.
it's crazy to think that this feels like I'm. It's weird to say this, but this feels like a uniquely American movie, just because it is, of course. I would say that this is partially feels like a Western,
Mhm.
in some regards,
It is.
and it deconstructs the kind of masculine nature of Westerns as well in some ways.
Mhm.
But it's directed by Ang Lee, who is a Hong Kong filmmaker,
Yeah.
who is a director who has, in over his entire career, has made world-spanning international films. Like, it's not just films set in Hong Kong. He makes
Mhm.
films that appeal to everyone, of different cultures and stuff. And so I think that's really something special, and I think that that's why it's handled with a delicacy and with a respect and a reverence.
Mhm.
and because I feel like at that time in 2005, if it was handled by an American director, it would not have been as uh, tender. It would not have been as kind of, I keep using the word delicate, right? But like it wouldn't have been as rewarding. It would have been a little bit more. Either they would have gone the route of not showing us anything, and
Mhm.
like the craziest thing would have been them like embracing, or it would have gone the complete opposite direction and made it almost like a softcore porn, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I think that Lee strikes that fine balance of content versus or intrinsic meaning
Mhm.
versus kind of the spectacle or
It's he feels like the audience isn't dumb and
yeah.
doesn't it's like, "This is what you're gonna get. How do you feel about it?" Is what I got from it. It was like, "Okay, I really like, Ennis and Jack in this movie. Should
Mhm.
they have been together?" In the in that time, I would have been like, probably," but they don't wanna go to the fork in the road and pick the wrong path and then have something bad happen to him. So I can see both ways that he wanted us to just not imagine ourselves in their feet, but think about it a little bit more than just a
Yeah.
normal movie.
And there's also like a lot of why nothing happens comes from Ennis or Heath Ledger's characters, his own fears,
Mhm,
and in some ways that comes from like this film does nail that kind of fear aspect
mhm.
of coming out or of being in the community because of the violence or the ostracization that you feel.
Yep.
Um, and I think that it's nailed through Heath's character, and I think that Jake's character as well, Jack, does a great job of kind of like the inquisitive, like more hopeful side. So you get both sides of it in one relationship, which I think is really something that I really enjoy about the movie. And also, I
Mhm,
do want to point out Anne Hathaway and Michelle Williams are also really good in this movie,
mhm.
particularly Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
Like, she plays the role really well of like finding out, and then the way that she confronts Ennis
Mhm,
eventually
mhm.
is very special. It feels raw and it feels emotional,
Yeah. Mhm,
and that's why she was nominated for an Academy Award.
mhm.
And like I think when we've seen so many romance films, or at least I have, I don't know how many how many romance films you watch on the daily.
I've gotten a lot
Um,
up since this movie club, so
well, there you go, since movie club. But like this feels like one of the most down to earth. It feels one of the most realistic and raw romance films. Like I would say, probably since Past Lives. Past Lives is very similar in terms of how
yep.
I guess also you could say missed chances is kind of a common theme
Yeah,
in
like
realistic films.
the what ifs kind
Yeah,
of a thing. Which this has a lot of what ifs.
it's
So,
it's the what we could have had,
mhm,
and the majority of the movie is dealing with that,
mhm.
which I think is if the whole movie was just them figuring out that they were into it and then whatever, like it wouldn't have been as interesting.
Mm-mm,
This
mm-mm.
is kind of an ode to the people who came before the community was much more accepted. Now the people who have
Yeah.
had to deal with this throughout history are kind
Mhm.
of represented here.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was really special.
Yeah, it is.
So this was my pick this week. So I'm going to go ahead and go first with my score and thoughts. I thought this movie was damn near perfect. I think it's one of the best romance films that I've seen because, like Past Lives, it's very grounded. It's very realistic feeling. They work overtime to craft a film that is befitting of the characters and their story and their world. It's a gorgeous film. The score is incredible. I mean, hey, I'm not a fan of Western like outfits. Like, you're not going to see me in a cowboy hat ever.
Mm-mm.
But damn, do they make these outfits look good in this movie? But it's the story of love that had to be hidden for fear of violence and repercussion. It's a heartbreaking film, but it is also one that's hopeful. And I think that this is probably one of the best movies that you could show people who either don't know a lot about same-sex relationships or LGBTQIA plus things.
Mhm.
It's a very good introductory film, and it does a really good job of showing that just love is love, no matter who is on either sides of it. So,
Yeah.
I really love this movie. I gave it a 98 out of 100. I absolutely adored it, which is 4.5 stars out of 5. So, Kevin, what did you think?
Very good. Yeah, I really thought the scenery of the mountains in the background of being in exclusive like Wyoming and a little bit of Texas here with Jack's character as well was absolutely gorgeous. I loved when they went out to the mountains. You can see just how beautiful it looks up there. I love the chemistry between the two main characters, but I also loved Michelle Williams as the wife of Ennis and how she becomes like a little breakout star in the middle of this romantic movie as well, which I really enjoyed. It's just it's absolutely fantastic, and I haven't seen Crash yet, but this was the most controversial like Oscar, wasn't it?
Yes, the fact that I want to say Crash won over this
Hmm.
this was the year. Let me double check. This is going to drive me nuts.
Hmm.
But yeah, this was widely considered that this should have been the winner.
I will really want to check out Crash now because if it even holds a candle to this, it's probably gonna be a no for me. This should have won it, but it's absolutely fantastic. I gave this a 95 out of 100, which accumulates to 4.5 stars out of 5.
Gotcha. That is going to bring us to the end of this episode. And yes, this was the year that Crash won
Okay.
over. But yeah, that's going to bring us to the end. So the question now falls to you. What do you think of Brokeback Mountain? Please be respectful in the comments because you never know. That other person you could be talking to might be the Jack to your Ennis. But
Hmm.
go ahead and leave those thoughts down below. Again, be respectful. Next week, we're continuing our June month-long theme, looking at Venice Film Festival Best Picture winners. And the movie next week is going to be the drama Nomadland. So excited to check that out. Make sure to watch it before next week so you aren't spoiled. And there we have it. So we have our live stream every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And of course, we have this show every Friday at 4 a.m., which is when it goes live Pacific Standard Time. So thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.